Welcome to the story and the song. My name is Adri Love. I'm going to be your host. I'm a singer songwriter based on the west coast of BC, Canada, otherwise known as Turtle Island. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like and subscribe, help this channel along. And also, don't forget to follow the pages of all the artists or any episodes that you have listened to. There are links to their socials and their website in all of the show descriptions and show notes. So make sure to follow along, not just with us, but also the artists because they need it. This next guest is Cease from Winnipeg. I was so fortunate and I feel so lucky to have had them agree to chat with me, as we had never met before. And they were just so lovely to talk to. And we got the inside scoop of what the music scene is like out in Winnipeg. What's their story with music? What songs are they going to be releasing soon? And there's a little bit of an exclusive announcement in this episode as well. So you're definitely going to want to listen through. Um, and yeah, they're also doing some really great work with and involved in the Good and Plenty Producers Club in Winnipeg, which is a space that has been created for women, Two Spirit, non binary, and trans people to come and learn about production work, recording, um, and the music industry. And what an amazing thing. We need more spaces like that. So if you are someone who's interested in learning more about that, definitely head over to their Instagram and get involved. There, I will post that in the show description as well. So, without further ado, please enjoy this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in and enjoy.
And it's Cecilia Lopez. So, do you
Mhm.
have some Spanish background?
Yeah.
Tell us about your heritage, your
Yeah, it's
where you
my
coming
dad's
from?
my dad's side of the family is from the Canary Islands. And so that's my like Spanish side, and I lived for a couple of years in Spain as well, in my early 20s.
Okay, nice. ¿Y
Mhm.
hablas español?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing, amazing. And so your name is it short for like when you say your name, is it
It's
Cease?
Cease. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's just a nickname that I was given like growing up, like
Yeah.
playing hockey and stuff, and then it just stuck with me and I've been using it ever since, and everybody calls me Cease now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Nice. Well, you're only 26, and I feel like you've already accomplished so much, and you've just been so busy. You have released a couple of singles this year already, and you were part of the Women in Studio Accelerator program, and you are part of the Good and Plenty Producers Club and Arts Collective.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you get like how old were you when you started writing songs, and like what's your story with music? Like, how did this all begin? How did we
Yeah.
get
Well,
here?
I turned 27 in July, so
Okay.
I've been there for a couple months now, but
Okay.
I I guess I started like my family is quite musical on my mom's side. We're a Mennonite family from Manitoba, so it's they're very musical.
Okay.
Um, and so my Oma was a violin teacher and maker, and my on my mom's side played violin. So that was my first instrument as a kid, and I absolutely hated it. Like I hated taking lessons from family and
Yeah.
how like rigid it was. And so then I didn't do music for a really long time. But I guess always had it kind of in me, as I was like raised like that. And then in high school, picked up a guitar again and started writing some stuff near the end of high school, um, and really got into music in university when I went to university in the States and I joined an a cappella group and a gospel choir and um, was like kind of really embraced music at that time. Um, and then released my own music, started writing and releasing my own music in how about halfway through university, and then when I went to Spain just after university was when I released my first EP with a different project. I had like a folk project before this.
Hmm.
Just kind of I moved during the pandemic, so I was just kind of like writing and recording stuff in my bedroom when I was living in Spain.
Hmm.
Um, and then when I moved back to Canada a couple of years ago, um, I kind of really dove into it and started the Cease project and about 2 years ago, and I've been releasing stuff since then, and got more into producing too, which is the Good and Plenty Producers Club. We're an organizing team of probably about 10 people here in Manitoba. And we put on events and showcases and like workshops and learning opportunities. And then the founder of Good and Plenty, Lena Winterhalt, her and I just opened a studio in Winnipeg in April. And so we're hoping to have that be a space for workshops and co-working for non-cis men in the music industry.
Amazing. Wow.
Mhm.
Um, so you just said so much there,
Yeah,
that
so I
I'm
was like a
like so
10-minute
curious. Yeah.
answer.
I'm so curious about a lot of things there. So it's like you grew up with music in your family. And so were you, because your voice is incredible. It's
Mm.
like Charlotte Day Wilson meets Sade. Like that's what I was feeling and hearing. Like
Oh,
even just
thank
like the production of your songs are very like, but like the tones of your voice are very much like that. Um, so you mentioned like violin, but like what about your voice? Like when did you start
yeah.
singing?
I started singing also around the same time. I was put in children's choirs by my mom, and I again hated
Okay.
it.
Oh my
But
God.
I feel like she used to have to like bribe me. It was like audition children's choirs.
Oh, no
So I don't know why I
pressure.
didn't
Like
just like just pardon?
there's a bit of pressure there if you're
I know.
auditioning and yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
especially if I didn't enjoy it really, but I think
Right.
deep down I enjoyed it, which is why I didn't really throw the audition, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it was definitely something that I was in because my mom wanted me to be in it. Um,
Right.
but I grew up listening to a lot of my parents' music and a lot of 70s soul, so I think that's really where like the most of my influence comes from, at least like formative years of like singing and like learning to harmonize and that kind of stuff and like listening to my mom harmonize and try like mimicking her in the car and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so awesome that you like have this musical connection with your mom.
Hmm.
It just what's your mom's story with music? Like why was she so like wanting you to be like
Yeah.
in the arts? Like was she what's she like?
I think it really is the whole, because that whole side of the family is very musical and it's been
Okay.
like generationally. And
Okay.
again, like it's such a huge part. Sorry, can you hear that?
No.
Okay, great.
What is it?
No, no, it's fine. The dog's playing with like a really like scrunchy kind
Oh.
of like toy, and it's really loud in here, but I
Okay.
just didn't know sometimes it like separates the sound.
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I think again, like being Mennonite is such a big part of it. It's like such a music is such a big part of Mennonite culture.
Okay.
And like I didn't necessarily grow up going to church a whole lot. Like really just like for Christmas and Easter or whatever, but my whole like family would sing grace in like multiple part harmony and like every once in a while I would be around it. So I think because my mom grew up in that, it was a big part of it and she just loves music and my dad loves music as well. They're both very passionate, so I
Okay.
got kind of that passion from both sides.
Wow. Okay. And so were these choirs like part of the church that you were like
Well,
was
we
that
ended up the children's choirs.
yeah.
I ended up we sang in churches a lot, and I
Yep.
think, you know what? Now that I think about it, it wasn't called anything related to the church, but all of our rehearsals were in like the Mennonite University. So I'm pretty sure there was definitely some connections there. It was like probably run by Mennonites.
Right. Okay, but the songs you were singing were not like
No,
they
not
weren't like
necessarily. No.
Bible
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't really sing explicitly religious songs.
Okay. Yeah, this is like bringing back memories of I feel like I've just kind of like I don't know, like blocked that out of my brain for whatever reason, but like I grew up as a Jehovah Witness and
Oh,
we had to sing at in church as well. So, yeah, I'm like being reminded of that right now.
wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Um
When did you like leave
yeah.
the church?
I was I think I had to move out to like get away from it because
Yeah.
they are so crazy.
Wow.
Um I think I was 17 when I moved out. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
was
that's
like
like
and like when I was 16, I was already starting to just not really I was starting to want to lead my own life and
mhm.
um you know, wanting to have experiences you know yeah, I feel like just my life was so restricted growing up. I just wanted to do all the things that like they told me not to do. And
Right.
so, yeah, it's just yeah. So,
Well,
17 I moved out and yeah, just kind of the moment I got a full-time job and was able to support myself, I was like, I'm out of here.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it sucked because like I wanted to leave home with like, you know, somewhat of a relationship with my mother, but it was just it was too hard because they really like and she fully like placed a lot of guilt on me about leaving and
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah, yeah. And I'm
God,
sure
so
like the Mennonite religion, like when you mentioned Mennonite, I was just like, oh, like, yeah, it's
yeah,
probably
there's
like that
definitely
too in some ways.
yeah. I don't necessarily have like much religious trauma. Like I've my family was like pretty like removed and like
Okay.
not very like not old order Mennonites, so like pretty
Okay.
I guess there's like a lot of Mennonites in Winnipeg and stuff now. But God, yeah. Especially like there's a lot of Mennonites in BC too. In
Okay.
like Abbotsford area.
Yeah. When did
Interesting.
you like did you break away from all of that and like are your parents still heavily practicing that or they just never
Um,
were very like intense or
yeah, my dad's not Mennonite, and my parents were never like very heavily practicing. Like we go to like
okay.
things, but they're pretty like I actually did go to a Catholic high school, but that wasn't because of the Catholic high school. That was because I'm a hockey player and it was a hockey playing school.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, a lot of weird ways that like religion has intersected in my life, but none of them have ever been like really like strongholded, you know. And I think my
Yeah.
parents were always like pretty removed.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself like a spiritual person now, or do you have like did you where do you land in your beliefs now? Like having
Yeah.
been through that, because I know I definitely like for me if I feel like everything happens for a reason and I'm like I wonder like in some ways I look back on that experience of being in that kind of environment and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of like glad in some ways that I went through that because now I'm like I'm just definitely not wanting to have anything to do with organized religion and I'm like if maybe I hadn't been through that I might you know I might be at church right now like trying to find God or trying to find my spirituality and so you know do you
Yeah.
feel like that experience informed like how you move forward in your like beliefs now.
I think mine was kind of like mine was much more delayed because again, like when we did go to church, it was really just for holidays and my parents really like never enforced any like religion in the home or anything like that. I think I grew up pretty like non-religious, like
Okay.
like in my within my household.
Okay. There was a lot
But
of freedom there
yeah,
for
it
you.
wasn't
Yeah.
until university that I then like I had a partner who was like pretty religious, and then I started going to church with her a little bit, and also just because I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living in the States as well, so there was like a lot. different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and had like many conversations there. And then I was in the gospel choir in my university, so that was like we sang a lot of worship songs, and that kind of led me to a path of like finding spirituality where maybe I didn't necessarily recognize it before in my life, um, through like music, later, like really being at a like healthy distance, but feeling connection through music, or like even when going to churches, but not in a religious way.
Okay.
Mm.
Right. So you feel like music is your religion, kind of. Is that like
I
a
definitely
fair
feel,
statement?
yeah, I definitely feel very spiritual, but not religious.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and I mean, music is like, how has music been a tool in your life to express yourself? Like how has that helped you as a person?
God, there's like I sometimes I think about how scared I would be, or like maybe before it played such a big role in my life, like not being able to even like think about before, like I guess I always listened to music, and but I'm thinking like before I like started playing it myself versus now, like it's like I think about it like all the time, like every day. And it's just really crazy um how that changes, and now not necessarily being able to like even remember a time when music didn't play a big role in my life. Um and I don't necessarily write all the time because I need like an outlet or something like that. Like I'm just like it's something that I feel called to do and like drawn to do all the time, and like I'm not as passionate about anything as I am about music.
Right, right. And so when you say it's like always on your mind, like walk us through that. Like, do you just wake up like just constantly thinking about songs and like things that you can do? Like how does that like play itself out?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard because like you get like I worked in music as well, and if you're working in music as well as being an artist and all that, it's like I don't want my life to all be centered around one thing ever.
Okay.
Um, so that was actually really hard last year. I was working for a music management company,
Okay.
um, and then doing a lot of my own stuff, and then doing work for other artists, like on the
Right.
administrative side. And so I felt like I was in music like 24/7. And so I got really
Okay.
burnt out by it.
Yeah.
Um, but now, even if I'm like enjoying music, like that's another thing that I'm thinking about. Like sometimes I'm practicing not having it at the forefront of my thoughts, but it's still always like I'm always catching myself just like singing something, or like my partner's catching me like singing something. It's always like it's always there even if I don't recognize it.
Amazing. Yeah. And so it sounds like, a lot of artists have, different routines and practice methods. So you feel like you're just kind of go with the flow. Like whenever I'm feeling like inspired, I'm going to write something. Is that kind of like your process with things?
Sometimes I have, like, I definitely have certain times where I try to sit down, or if I'm like have time in the studio, then I'll try and sit down and write stuff or make stuff. But um, a lot more often than not, if I try to like dedicate a certain amount of time or like a certain time to to create music, it'll be more so on the instrumental side if I'm like in the studio. I feel like the lyrics itself I can't necessarily force. The lyrics more so are like stuff that I collect in the day to day. So I have like running notes on my phone, or sometimes if I very much like feel, I've noticed that most of the time, if I get like kind of that like rush of creativity or the impulse to write something or create something, it's because I'm experiencing other art, whether it's something I'm listening to, like in other music, or if I'm like watching or experiencing something and or like reading poetry, like that's usually when it like comes to me.
Yeah, amazing. Um, so it sounds like you're more so a producer, like you're more on the music side than you are on the songwriting side. I mean, you've written some amazing songs, like the songs you've released this year, Enormous and what is the other one called? Everything to Lose.
Oh yeah, that'll be out in a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. That one hasn't been released yet. Um, so how did you get into producing? And I want to hear about this studio that sounds really amazing, and you're creating this space for the queer community and people of color. Like, let's dive into the studio that you're going to and how you got
Mhm.
into producing.
Yeah. I just started producing by like making loops on GarageBand with my dad.
Okay.
And then made that kind of like natural transition to ending up like in Logic once I started, writing and like releasing my own music.
Hmm.
But I guess it was just kind of like it's it's really nice because like nowadays it's a lot more accessible to produce your own stuff. Like so many people are producers of their own things. Um, but that's kind of like just like what I had. If I had my like computer, then I'm just gonna like write and make stuff and release it myself. And that's how it all like started and has been for a really long time. And then um I started once I moved back to Winnipeg or was kind of already making music and releasing stuff when I like would come back and visit Winnipeg. I started to connect more to the community here, the music community, and that's when I met Lana Winterhalt, who is my kind of studio mate, and she was also in the Women in the Studio program, but I think in 2021. And so she's been a really great mentor for me and a lot of people in Winnipeg. But we opened this studio in April, and what's really nice is that we're able to pool gear, we're able to share time. I feel like a lot of times it's like it's nice in North America that you can rent equipment and music stuff from like Long and McQuaid and other places. Like when I lived in Spain, you couldn't rent anything, which is
Okay.
just so crazy to me. Because like, what is it for somebody supposed to buy like a guitar every time they want to use one, like or something like
Right.
that?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I didn't even realize how fortunate we were here to be able to have a rental system. But to be able to share a studio with, I share it with Lana and then another friend of mine who's a drummer. So she leaves her kit there. Um, so all of us are kind of able to pool all of our instruments and our gear and it's always much more effective when there's a collective. Um, and so we kind of share days of the week, or if we're working with other people, we'll like bring them in. It's a two-part space. The first room is like a co-working lounge area. So um, we have people come often and they just do work or like computer work or administrative work and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
then on the other side, we have the studio with the instruments and the interface and the gear. And it's really nice to like Lana lives outside of the city and has a baby or like a 1-year-old child. So she can't really do much music stuff at home. So we're thinking, about parents as well and like certain contexts that you're in. If you're at home, like you're not able to mix, you're not able to record, you have a child there. So this way she's able to come in a couple times a week and share the space. And then we're starting to do monthly open studio sessions that kind of change based on which organizer is running the session. So Daggers, who's another Manitoba producer, who's also in the Women in the Studio program this year with myself,
Nice.
we're going to, I think October 19th, we're going to host a like a kind of a knowledge sharing workshop session on what we learned this year as part of the program. So that'll be open. And then Veronica Blackhawk of the Tinge is our artist project. We'll host like a jam session because we feel like a lot of times it's just like if you want to go to a jam session, it's like these older white guys who've been like playing forever and they're always there. And it's like, and it's like, how do people try instruments and not feel so self-conscious or just want to play with like other women or like non-binary people, and it be more like welcoming and like to have fun and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. I love that you guys are creating that, and it seems like community is just at the base of all of that you're doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's really awesome because yeah, I'm living out here in White Rock and I've been going out to open mics and it's just like a bunch of old white dudes who play cover songs and I'm like the only songwriter there and I just feel so like I'm the only like woman queer person and I'm just like I like this is like very yeah, like
Yeah.
the other day I was just like why did I stay there for so long. I just like I don't know, I was like trying to and I'm like I this like why are there not more spaces where it's more women um
Yeah.
and songwriters. Like I want to be in a room of songwriters. So
Hmm.
that's I love that you're doing that and I'm sure that that is going to just ripple out in so many ways like just creating that space for artists to come and create and you mentioned that people are co-working there. So is that or is it are you leaving it to be pretty like open or are you charging people or if you're going to co-work there like is it just like do people have to pay to do that or
Yeah, not for the co-working. Well, it's mostly kind of been like if Lana or I are there, then we'll say, you can come work in the space because like I'm already there working, so feel free to
yeah.
join it. Like it's open. Um, but as we're like setting up, we're still figuring out all the kinks. We do like charge for like a rehearsal space if people want to use the space to rehearse.
Okay.
Um, but like very low rates and yeah.
How did you
Mostly just because
guys
like Lana and I are paying the rent, so something to help cover it.
right, yeah, absolutely. And how did you guys find that space? Like was it fairly easy? What's it like in Winnipeg to be finding space? Because like here in Vancouver it's just like crazy expensive. So is that
Yeah,
easier there or
this was actually a really cheap space. But I found it wasn't advertised anywhere. I found it because I was part of a song camp. There are two other studios on the same floor, and I was
okay.
part of a song camp with another studio. Um, and they were using that room because nobody was occupying it at that time. And so I was the producer in that room for the day. And then I kind of like asked about it, like, oh, is this available? And they said the building manager or whatever, they said that it was, and I told Lana like immediately because we had just talked like the week prior about her wanting a space in the city because she lives just outside of the city.
Hmm.
Um, and so we like immediately like talked to the building manager and got it set up.
Amazing. So it just
Mhm.
like lined up very quickly.
Yeah. It's really like it's one of those things of like having to know people or like be part of something that like it falls on you because like I tried to look it up after the song camp and I couldn't find anything about it anywhere. So,
Okay.
mhm,
Amazing. I love it. I love how that lined up for you guys.
mhm.
So did the Good and Plenty Producers Club, was that before you guys had the space or was the space create like you found the space and then you created that or
No, Lana created that I think in probably 2020-ish, right around there. It's
okay.
been going for about 5 years, but we just kind of expanded the organization or the organizing team last year. I had been like volunteering with them for a couple years on and off, but there's like 10 of us now on the organizing team.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what is your goal with that for people who don't know what the Good and Plenty
Mhm.
Producers Club and Arts Collective is? Like what's
Yeah, yeah. So there's two branches, as you mentioned. There's the Arts
mhm.
Collective and then the branch of like the Producers Club. Basically, the goal is the mission is to create opportunities and learning opportunities for women, non-binary, two-spirit, and trans producers. And well, the producer side would be the producers, but just music professionals. So we put on like one day choirs, and it's really centered around community. So we put on one day choirs. It's a lot of our programming is just open to anyone, even though the focus is on music, sorry, women, non-binary, two-spirit, and trans music professionals. And then we put on like learning workshops. We just did a feed forward producers session at Breakout West where two of our organizers, Daggers and Amber Neufeld, basically people submit, producers submit tracks, and it's all constructive feedback. It's all like positive feedback because it's just too often like there's like a lot of nitpicking, and especially for like female producers, we wanted people to feel welcome and um you know like they're putting themselves out there, so to get good feedback, positive feedback, and feel good about the work that they're doing.
Amazing.
Mm.
Do you ever have this moment where you're like, it's 2025, like how are we like still trying to take up space in these avenues of production and audio engineering? Um, like, do you ever have those moments of just like disbelief that like we're still kind of where we are?
I had a moment when, for my own project, I was looking for mixing engineers in Manitoba, and it's just like there are so like to try and work with women, and there are just so few, and like mastering engineers. Like I was like mastering like across Canada, and especially like it depends because like you can have a mastering engineer who like almost exclusively works in like rock music, but I don't make rock music. And like it may not make that big of a difference, but I also like want to work with people who are in R&B as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
ended up finding someone from LA, of course, but it's like, man, how far do you have to go to find
Right.
a mastering engineer that's a woman?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I saw your page, like the page for the producers club, I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing that they're doing that
Hmm.
because or that you're a part of it too and that you guys are creating this space because it's so needed um and there's just so much under representation and also just um like why do you think it's because we can say you know I don't know, I don't think there's any excuse now for us to say that like yes, it has been a male dominated industry, but also now that we can record at home, like anyone can become an engineer. Like, do you think that women just are, or women and queer people, trans, like, do you feel like they just maybe are too afraid to put their foot forward in that kind of work, or is it that like we're still waiting for permission?
Yeah,
Like
like
why do you or has it just been like gatekept for this long? Like
yeah.
um because like I remember going to a women's music event. I can't remember which one it was, and I was like I went up to this one producer uh who's who's a woman, and I was like, do you have a list of like all the, because I wanted to work with a female producer for my
Mhm.
um for my music, and I was like, do you have a list of producers that are women in Vancouver? And she's like, this is it. Like there's two of us here and like
Right, right.
that's it. And I'm like, that's crazy. Um so yeah, I don't know, what are your thoughts on like why that is?
Um, Definitely there is a like even I'm like scared a lot of the time, like that I don't necessarily like have the training or whatever, like,
Right.
but I think that's why like good organizations like Good and Plenty and Women in the Studio are so important, because it focuses on the training that then will hopefully eliminate the imposter syndrome that you feel down the line, like working with people. Like it's really important to focus on the training from the ground up, which is again why Good and Plenty focus focuses on doing like workshops and learning sessions as well, and also creating community so that you can like work with people around you and your peers who like are in similar boats, because the most important thing is being able to relate to other people, um and work with people who are in similar situations as you, or understand what you're going through, um and so because of that, like a lot of the time, like I'll feel probably inadequate if there's anything to do with like actual physical gear. Like I don't necessarily have the training for that, but it's just like the training is so important. So those scholarships, like I got like a scholarship like 2 years ago from CQ Audio, who's out of Alberta, and like Women in Music Canada, to go to mix with the masters in France. So that that's another level of like that, like tangible training that's really important to 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 have for women, non-binary, and trans producers, because it's the training that will then allow people to also pass that on. So like we with Good and Plenty, like if I go to a session like that, or like Laura and I, or sorry, Daggers and I are in Women in the Studio, we then like pass on that knowledge, and we'll have sessions with um like younger or other producers, like other women and non-binary and trans producers, and yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. Actually, when you mentioned that, I was just like, that's so smart. Like, of course, like, why would you hoard all of that knowledge to yourself? Like, so yeah, that's awesome. You guys are doing that.
Mhm.
Um, what is the Winnipeg music scene like? Like, what's going on over there? Like, I've heard so many things. I know, like, two artists that I really love are based out of there. So Begonia and Boy Golden.
They're
Um,
both fantastic.
yeah, I'm obsessed with their music. Like Begonia's album Powder Blue just like got me through like the last couple years. So,
Yeah.
um,
Wait.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Have you met her?
Um, I have met her, like she's around and stuff, but this my partner's saying this is my partner's final, just so you know. So it's
Okay.
her taste.
I love
Um,
it. I honestly thought for a second, I was like, oh my God, is she at your house?
no, she's fantastic though. Yeah, and also just such a lovely person. Um, a lot of like I don't work with her, but like work with a lot of people who work with her. So like especially like Diaphane, like who is one of her background vocalists. Um, I do a lot of like stuff with her as well.
Amazing.
And Boy Golden, I was just in Boy Golden's new music video
No
actually.
way. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
very funny.
How is that? Which the
Yeah,
one for which
that's like
songs?
that's the Winnipeg music scene. It's like
Okay.
everybody knows everybody,
Yeah.
and it's like largely very supportive.
Okay.
Like that's something that I was really taken aback by when I moved back to Winnipeg, because I moved back in like 2022,
Mm-hmm.
um and really have only kind of been in the music scene for the last like 3 years. Um and that's where I like found Good and Plenty. That's where I like met Lana and all the other organizers from Good and Plenty, and there's so many people doing so much good work. Um and there's just so much talent that comes out of Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg, for its size, has such a thriving art scene, such a thriving music scene, and it's just like there's funding. People, it's inexpensive to live here. Um, like Lana and I can open a studio for and the rent doesn't kill us. Um, and everybody's like willing to work with everybody, you know?
Interesting. I have heard that, and just because some people were coming back from South by Southwest, and am I saying that right? I'm like
Oh,
worried.
Breakout West.
Breakout West. Okay.
Mhm. Two
Thank you.
separate things, but both West.
Yes. Okay. um. Uh. that was at Breakout West recently, they came back and were posting on their Instagram being like, there is just such a vibrant community in Winnipeg, and everybody is just like so open and just so like collaborative. And she's coming back to Vancouver being like, where is that here? Like I want to connect um, with other people and feel this like sense of community. And she's not the only artist that has said that Vancouver really like lacks that sense of community and collaboration. It does kind of, and I think I've had like three or four people tell me this now.
Yeah.
For me, like with my journey with music in the Vancouver music community, like in the Vancouver music community, I don't know. I think I like when I first came to Vancouver to pursue music and like be part of a band and whatnot. I think I just kind of stayed in my own like little bubble of like people where it was
Mm,
like the people in my band. I didn't really like branch out to a lot of people in the music industry. I just kind of, I don't know. I think I just stayed in my own creative bubble where I just wanted to write songs and sing. That was all I wanted to do. The
mm,
business was like not a big concern to me. I didn't feel like I wanted to be a part of it. Like I just was like, I just want to get up on stage. I want to keep writing my songs. So I feel like I'm not like the best person to like comment on like how our community is and whether it's thriving or not. But there have been people who have been that I've spoken to that are a little bit more like who have had more of a experience out uh in the music community here, and there kind of seems to be like this, yeah, this like I don't know, this like separation here. So we need
mhm.
more Winnipeg vibes over here, I think, cuz that sounds really awesome. Like
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know what it is about over here. People are just less willing to like um collaborate with each other, or just like maybe we're more reserved. I don't know what it is. Who knows? It could be
I've
so
heard
many
that.
reasons.
I've heard that, and I feel like it's like the music community as like a symptom of the larger community. Like I have a lot of friends who have moved to Vancouver from Winnipeg and have so much trouble making friends. Like that
Right.
people are very kind of like just kind of stay to their own kind of
Yes.
bubbles. And I think that's like a big difference between Winnipeg. It's like I've met so many people in the last like 3 years since kind of like moving back and like made so many like new friends. And even though it's like, and again, that's partly probably due to the size, is like it doesn't feel so hard to it's pretty small. So it like feels like you
Okay.
can know everybody.
Right.
Um, and it's like easier probably to manage for like music industry associations like Manitoba Music versus like Creative BC. That's like a lot of people to manage out there versus like this is a pretty small population. Most people are part of Manitoba Music.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that could very well be a part of it. I mean, Vancouver has all these tri-cities. We're pretty spread out. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, um I do think that people are can be pretty flaky out here too. So yeah, um, maybe, and it's like maybe that because you guys are so small, there's just this sense of like we need each other. Like
Yeah,
like there isn't anyone else. So like
yeah,
you kind of know in the back of your mind that you're gonna need each other down the road, and so like
yeah,
why not band together and like do some cool
yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah, and you have other things in BC. Like it's so gorgeous and the like the landscape itself and the like natural world is so
Yes,
amazing that you can be
it's
so
true.
immersed in that versus like here it's like we need the people. You know, like
Right, because
it's like so cold for half the year. Like what else are you gonna do other than like be with people?
right. Okay. So it's like also part like environment that you're living in. Have you guys busted out your winter coats yet, or is that not quite
Well,
yet?
A couple weeks ago, actually, I was wearing a winter coat. We had like a little bit of a cold spell. This last week, it was summer. This last week was like 28 degrees, and like
What?
I don't understand what was happening. But I think we got that like we got a wave of heat, and now it's starting to rain again now.
Okay. When
But
does it start?
I busted out my winter coat like
Okay.
2 weeks ago, and then I busted out my shorts again last week. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's still pretty warm over here. Like, I mean, but it's like the West Coast. We barely
yeah,
get snow, and yeah, we're pretty lucky here. And I just think about Winnipeg. I'm like, oh, that's so cold there. I could never live there. But I want to. I would love to come out and experience this music scene that you're talking about, though.
yeah.
It sounds so awesome, and yeah, do you ever have moments where you're like just even this right now where you like music just being part of the music industry can be just being part of music in general can be just so awesome. Like when I think about how when you have that commonality with people, like that language that you can speak together, um just being able to connect with people that you would normally never talk to, and music like
Mm,
brings people together that way. Like um do you ever have those moments of just like this is so fucking awesome what we do, and like that we get to like just talk to
mm,
and like connect with people that just that you would never ever normally talk
mm.
to? Like, do you
Yeah,
have any like
yeah.
cool stories or um feelings
Well,
about that?
yeah, 100%. Because like for my last project, it was like aside from like two songs that I got some funding for, I'm like for my last EP that I released last year, Freeburn, I did almost everything. Like I wrote all the songs and I recorded almost everything in my apartment alone when I was living in Ottawa. And this new project I really wanted to be super collaborative, especially after moving back to Winnipeg, meeting so many amazing people and musicians, and really wanting to work with as many people as possible. And so I had a moment a couple of weeks ago. We were doing a rehearsal for a live recording, like acoustic kind of recording in a church, and my stuff is very vocal heavy. So for this live performance, I worked with like three really amazing artists and vocalists, Ingia, Hera, and Diaphane, who are also three friends of mine. And also Tyrion Platt, who I work with a lot. He's a keyboardist and pianist. And we were rehearsing, and this was a song I had written by myself. Um, and the recording is like mostly me, and well, I just hadn't done it at the same time, kind of recorded at the same time as other people for this one. And so we were rehearsing it and we played it. And a lot of these songs, I have a EP coming out in the spring. Um, and they're very close to my heart and they're very soft love songs. I'm a Cancer and they're very emotional.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I was playing this song with other people at the same time. And so we get to the chorus and I immediately, like as soon as their vocals came in, I immediately started bawling. It wasn't
Oh
even
my
like a little
god.
tear. Like as we were, it wasn't even a little tear. I was like, like as we were, and we just had to like pause rehearsal for like 2 minutes while I cried. Like, because it was
Oh.
just so like bone chilling to hear it with other people, and I wasn't expecting it. It really took me by surprise and really overwhelmed me in the best way possible.
Oh, I love that story. That is amazing. Like, yes, yes, I've experienced similar things with just yeah, like the music bringing you to tears, and when you get to collaborate with other people, like yeah,
Yeah.
it is this just so beautiful.
Mhm.
That's amazing. And I'm so excited for this EP. I did not catch on to that when I was looking at your Instagram. I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
I
So
haven't like explicitly announced it yet,
oh,
so that's
okay. So this is the first like official announcement. Okay, well,
yeah.
I feel so honored. Thank you for letting us in on that. What is it going to be called?
Briefly.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many songs are on it?
5.
Okay. And you
Mhm.
collaborated a lot with with people on this, like in the recording process as well, or was it
Yeah.
more so like just doing the live bits?
Well, this EP was very different from anything I've done before because I've built up such a good network of musicians here and collaborators.
Yeah.
Almost every song is co-written. And we recorded, I think, every song primarily live to tape with a band and with the vocalists. Like for Enormous, for example, that's the first song on
Oh,
the project.
okay.
Um, so for Enormous, we recorded the lead vocals, three of the backing vocals, two guitars, bass, piano, and drums all live. So that's like live. And then there was additional like supplemental production and layering on top. But most of it was done live.
Okay. That's amazing. Like not
Mhm.
many people do that anymore. What was your
Yeah.
kind of reasoning behind making that choice?
Yeah. I've this it was all very intentional because I've been very inspired by UK R&B right now and God Street Park and um Olivia Dean, and even though, that stuff isn't necessarily all recorded live, but we really wanted the feel of that kind of inspiration from the 70s soul. So we recorded live to tape as well. And really wanted to infuse all the recordings with that feel and that energy, and then of course bring in the contemporary additional production and layering and stuff that makes it pop and extra stuff that's really cool nowadays, but
Hmm.
really to have that inspiration and to pay homage to like 70s soul recordings.
Cool. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Recording to tape, like that's so great.
Yeah, I had
Not
never
many.
done it before, so it's really interesting. And we didn't record to a click for most of the songs, so we had to have it kind of all in one take because if
Yeah.
we fluctuated slightly on timing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how people used to do it. You just had to be like
Exactly.
really rehearsed and really good. Now,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, I'm also guilty of that. Like I will write a song and then I just like won't play that song again. But I'll record it and it's like, oh, I gotta practice that now.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really cool that you want to like capture the energy and the feeling and just and do all of that. That's really awesome. Um, I had a question and now I've forgotten it. I'm having a brain fart.
Mhm.
um, well, what else do you have coming up right now aside from the EP? Like, do you have any plans for the rest of the year, or are you just focused on the EP? Are you just
Yeah.
gonna
I
try
have
and
like
enjoy the rest of the year?
yeah, I've got like weird like a personal life stuff and like um I tore my ACL and meniscus last summer. So I had surgery last like winter and have been rehabbing that since. And like I mentioned before, I'm like a hockey player, so and also Spanish, so I play for the Spanish national team, and I'm like working on training to play for the World Championships in April, but it's like a long road to recovery, so haven't been working on all that. Um,
Wow. Okay,
aside
what
from
can you not do?
music.
Like, you're amazing. Like you're doing all these things. That's really cool.
Thanks. It is
Um,
it is a struggle like with the rehab and
yeah,
yeah.
I bet. How
Hmm.
long have you been playing hockey your whole life?
Yeah, I played I like grew up playing, and then like I mentioned I went to like a hockey high school,
Right.
um and I played there, and then I played in university in the States for a couple of years, and then played in Spain when I was living there. That's why I went there, to get my
Right.
citizenship and play there. And then I played in Ottawa while I was getting my master's, um like couple for 2 years.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow. So how long will it be, you think, till you hit the ice again?
Maybe around Christmas time.
Oh, okay. That's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's about a year out from surgery, just over, so we'll see how
Okay.
how the recovery goes. But I was very envious last year because um we have two rivers that intersect in Winnipeg like this,
Yeah.
and they freeze over and they turn them into long ice skating trail. And I was so jealous that the one year that I finally live in Winnipeg, like in the winter, and I'm not able to go skating, and I'm a hockey player, so like, I skate for a living.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and I wasn't able to because of my injury. That was, that was very frustrating, especially with like all my friends here when we're going skating.
Right. Yeah, that hurts the heart a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wish you like a fast recovery and that you get to get back to doing what you love. And yeah, I think I don't know if I have any other questions. I feel like we've covered a lot here. Are you going to be performing live anytime soon?
I just had a bunch of live things in September and August. I usually try to take some breaks in like kind of like lulls, just so I don't get like burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have like one show at the end of October, but probably nothing for like November, December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Performing can really take it out of you, and there's all rehearsals and then the performance
Yeah,
itself.
exactly.
It can be a
Yeah.
lot. So,
And I'm focusing on trying to get this EP release, so mostly on the back end of stuff to
right.
then prepare to do a lot of shows in the spring and summer.
Right. Nice. Are you going to apply to some festivals and try and,
Probably. I did a Western Canadian tour last spring. Um, Maybe I'll try and go out to like Ottawa, or sorry, like Ontario and Quebec a bit this year.
okay.
We'll see.
Awesome. We're all going to be keeping our eye out for what you end up doing because um I know I'm not the only one who's just loving your music and what you're up to and just how much you're giving back to your community. And yeah, it's really an honor and a pleasure to sit down and chat with you. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Um,
Thanks for reaching out.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, hopefully we can stay in touch and stay connected and we can keep vibing off of your the Winnipeg music scene energy and infuse it here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be doing some collaboration with like s- I've been talking with some Vancouver artists, and um let me know if you come out to Winnipeg and want to like do a show. I could probably connect you with some people. There's like writers, there's a Nashville, Manitoba, which is like a writers in the round kind of thing, so that would be like a good opportunity to be with other
Amazing.
songwriters and stuff.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Mm.
I would love that. Okay, cool. Well, have a good day and yeah, we'll chat later.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
All
Okay.
right.
Bye.
Bye.